Welcome. You've entered a space where dreams and scripture entwine, where a weary man lays down his head on stone and wakes beneath a sky filled with stairways. Tonight, we'll walk beside Jacob, not the cunning brother, not yet the patriarch, but the traveler, the sleeper, the one who glimpsed heaven from the dust of the earth. You may know the story in pieces, the ladder, the angels, the voice calling from above. But tonight we'll slow it down. We'll rest in the silence of the wilderness. We'll trace the stars one by one and listen for footsteps on the rungs of eternity. First, we'll begin with daily life, the journey, the family tension, the aching body stretched across wilderness ground. Then we'll follow the dream itself, its colors, its heights, its message. Next, we'll wander into mystery, the meaning of the ladder, the echoes across time, the images of sacred ascent. And finally, we'll look at the contrast, Jacob's fear, his vow, and the presence of God versus the absence of all he's ever known. So take a breath, let your thoughts slow, and imagine the chill of desert wind across your cheek, the smell of dry grass and dust, the hush of night wrapping around you like a worn cloak, and somewhere above, movement. Let's begin with the world Jacob walked through before he climbed anything at all. Imagine yourself alone on a dirt path. The sun is falling behind distant hills, and your sandals are caked with dry earth and weariness. This is Jacob's world, not yet the man with 12 sons, not yet the father of a nation, right now. He is simply a man who ran. Behind him, a home marked by rivalry, a brother whose rage simmers like embers under skin, a mother whose voice trembled as she told him to flee. He is not running toward something, but away from Esau's fury, away from what he's done. And so Jacob walks, each step echoing a strange new freedom laced with fear. Daily life for Jacob now is not defined by routine, but by terrain. Rocks, dust, sudden shadows from fig trees or cracks of stone. The journey is slow, not just from distance, but from the weight he carries inside. He has no home at the moment, just open sky. His meal is whatever the land provides, foraged berries, a crumb of bread from earlier, perhaps a skin of water given by a stranger. Nights fall without warning, no torch, no shelter. Just the rustle of wind, the cry of a far-off owl, and the occasional soft tread of an unseen animal nearby. Jacob is not yet holy. He is not yet wise. He is merely human, tired, conflicted, still shaped by trickery, but walking toward transformation. He does not yet know that the ground he sleeps on will soon become sacred, that what feels like exile is really invitation, that the heavens are bending near. But for now, he gathers his cloak, finds a smooth stone, and lays it beneath his head. And there, beneath stars uncounted, the dreams begin to stir. As Jacob drifted into sleep, the earth beneath him faded, and in its place the sky opened. Above him, not clouds, not darkness, but a ladder planted deep in the ground and stretching beyond the stars. It wasn't made of wood or rope, but of light, of something alive. Each rung shimmered not on fire, but in sacred stillness, and upon it angels, not floating but moving, ascending, descending, up and down, with purpose, with presence. They did not speak, but their movement told a story of a God who does not remain distant, of a heaven that touches earth, and above it all, a voice, the voice, I am the Lord, the God of Abraham your father, and the God of Isaac. The land on which you lie I will give to you and to your offspring. I am with you. I will keep you. I will not leave you. It wasn't a rebuke. It wasn't a warning. It was a promise. A whisper that wrapped around Jacob's running heart and said, you're not forgotten. You're not disqualified. You're still chosen. And in that moment, the ground he slept on became the very threshold of heaven. Not a temple, not a synagogue, but wilderness, dust, a stone beneath his head, became a gateway to eternity. What was this ladder? A vision? A portal? A symbol carved in light between heaven and earth? The ancient sages debated it. Some said it revealed the constant coming and going of divine messengers, angels who observe, intervene, protect, and report. Others believed it marked the rise and fall of empires, that each step foretold a nation's time on the world stage. But to the mystics, it was more personal. The ladder was the soul's journey, each rung an awakening, each ascent a drawing nearer to the divine. Jacob wasn't climbing that night, but something was rising within him, a slow realization that the invisible world was never far away. The angels ascending first did not come down to earth. They were already here, watching, waiting, walking beside him all along. And God's voice, it didn't thunder. It didn't shake the mountains. It simply spoke. Soft, certain, clear. At the edge of Jacob's fear, heaven showed up not to condemn, but to confirm. That wilderness is not abandonment. That running is not the end of the story. That even in exile, the divine is present. It wasn't a vision to prove his worth. It was a revelation of God's nature. Jacob, the deceiver, the one who schemed and ran, was still held by a promise older than he knew. The ladder did not demand that he climb. It simply showed him that the way is open. Jacob woke with a jolt, not from a nightmare, but from a holiness too large to hold in sleep. He sat up, trembling. Surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it. The ground, once ordinary, felt sacred. The stone under his head, now an altar. The air thick with memory and mystery. He didn't laugh. He didn't shout. He whispered, This is none other than the house of God. This is the gate of heaven. Alone in the wilderness, Jacob had expected danger, but found a doorway. He took the stone and stood it upright, a pillar to mark the moment. He poured oil over it, not to possess it, but to honor it. Then came the vow. If God will be with me, if he will keep me in this journey, then the Lord shall be my God. It wasn't a bargain. It was a beginning, a covenant formed in awe, from a man who had run far and realized he was never out of reach. The story doesn't end with the dream. It continues with a man who begins to walk differently because of what he saw in stillness. And even though the latter faded with morning light, its imprint remained in his steps, in his name, and in every place he called Bethel, house of God. So now, as the night folds in around you, and your breath softens with each moment, let Jacob's story linger like a distant hum. A man alone in the wild, caught between his past and the path ahead, laid his head on a stone and found heaven waiting. He wasn't in a temple. He wasn't in control. He wasn't even sure of who he was anymore. And still God came near, not with judgment, but with a whisper, with a ladder of light, and a promise that reached across generations. Let that truth settle inside you, that there are gateways in ordinary places, that angels may walk the same dirt roads as you, that even when you're uncertain, unworthy, undone, heaven is not far off. It is near, it is watching, and sometimes it dreams with you. Good night, and may your soul rise gently, rung by rung, toward the one who never left.